narcissist invalidation of who we are as a person. How being around someone with the characteristic traits of a narcissistic personality disorder can have effects on who we are as a person. The different methods a narcissist uses to invalidate who we are as a person, the effects it has on us as a person, ways to rebuild our self-esteem to overcome the things that we've been through within our lives. Thank you very much to the returning subscribers. If you are new to the channel, my name is Elizabeth Shaw and this channel is about the narcissist personality disorder to give you more understanding of the things you might have been through within your life, the people you might be dealing with, how you can handle yourself around those people if you cannot go no contact, and ways, methods to try to help you heal and recover from narcissistic abuse. If you do find the information on this channel helpful, please do subscribe. There's also a notifications bell, but I do recommend it's always best to tune into these sorts of things when you're in the right frame of mind to do so, and also have something to do afterwards to lift your spirits, to find the gratitude within your life or the things to be positive about in your life, so that you don't bring yourself down too much, because some videos can have a lot of light bulb moments or some triggering moments, so always have something to do afterwards to pick yourself back up. So, invalidation. This is when a narcissist will reject, deny, criticise, belittle, dismiss, ignore our thoughts, our feelings, our intentions, our beliefs, our values, everything about who we are as a person, everything about our personality, everything about our achievements in life, everything about our looks. Narcissists will tend to go for the things that matter the most to you. So if you have that confidence and that belief within your looks, and no matter what somebody says to you, it does not put you down, a narcissist will not go after that within you. If you have an insecurity about a certain part of your looks, a narcissist will chip away at that insecurity. If you're confident within your ability in your career, a narcissist might not necessarily go for that. They'll find another way to financially abuse you, whether that's giving you control of all the finances, yet putting that fear into you to make sure that their financial needs are met before any of the family needs are met. If they know you question yourself about your ability within your job, they will find a way to chip away at that within you. If you question your parenting skills, they will chip away at those parenting skills. Whatever insecurities you have, a narcissist will invalidate those first to bring you crashing down on those. Then they will start working away at the other things, because once they've lowered your self-esteem in certain areas, once they've chipped away at the areas where you haven't got self-esteem and they've brought you down, they can then start chipping away at the areas where you may have self-esteem, because once they've got you questioning certain abilities within yourself, you then begin to question more and more about yourself, and the more the narcissist can then chip away at you to bring you down on the things that you did have self-esteem or confidence about within yourself. Once they've got you to that point where you're second guessing yourself, they can then further their control over how you think and how you feel as a person. We then begin to lose trust within our own faith within ourselves. We lose trust within our own abilities. We lose trust within our own feelings, within our own instincts. We lose faith in our own abilities, and then as soon as something gives us the evidence, because we all make mistakes in life, so as soon as something gives us the evidence that we are not capable of doing something, we'll have that narcissist in our subconscious talking to us. We begin to put ourselves down more and more and more. Often then going to the narcissist for clarity, for that reality check, not realising that they're going to gaslight us and bring us down even more. You see, when you're when you're around confident people who have self-esteem and who are confident within themselves, they can literally light up a room, and we can be drawn to those people. And these people are very good to be around, and people who have low self-esteem can attach themselves to them to try and raise their own self-esteem on a subconscious level. And when you've got someone who is confident within their abilities, but is also willing to raise other people up, to help other people out, because they're not in competition with anybody else, so they're only in competition with themselves, so they don't mind other people doing well. They want other people to do well. They want other people to achieve. These are very good people to be around because they want what's best for you, you want what's best for them. When you're around a narcissist who one of their characteristic traits is that arrogance, and arrogance can be mistaken for confidence. So we can get drawn into that arrogance within them and who they are as a person because they come across as a confident person. And they will lead us to believe that they are a confident person and that they are somebody they are not. They will lead us to believe that they care about us. They will lift us up so high. They will flatter us just to bring us crashing down, to distract us from when they bring us crashing down. And because it is arrogance, because they don't have that self-esteem within themselves to gain that self-esteem, they then have to belittle and put down those around them to feel better about themselves. And when you're mistaking somebody for having confidence that is pulling you down, you don't then question that person as, why is that person speaking to me like that? You can then look at that person and think, well, they're quite confident, they must know what they mean. But we often don't then go and work on ourselves for ourselves. We then go and work on ourselves to gain their approval, not realising that it's not about gaining their approval because they're not interested in us. They're interested in lowering us so that they can raise themselves. Another characteristic trait is their lack of empathy. So when your feelings have been hurt, either by some form of behaviour they've done, some action they've taken that's hurt your feelings, or even something that's happened at work and you've come home to a partner, or you've gone to speak to a narcissistic parent about how your feelings have been hurt, regardless of whether it was the narcissist that's hurt those feelings or somebody else that's hurt the feelings. Because they lack the empathy, they cannot relate to how you're feeling. And if it's taking that attention away from them, because another trait is they require excessive attention. So if it's taking attention away from them, they're going to try and crush you to gain the attention back onto themselves. If they've hurt you, they want to escape that accountability. They don't feel like they are to blame, so they're going to find a way to shift the blame onto the fact that it's not their fault you're feeling how you feel, it's your fault for feeling how you feel. They don't want to discuss the actions that led up to your feelings. They want to invalidate you by saying that you're jealous, you're insecure, you're too sensitive. They were only joking, because then you question your perception of your feelings towards the situation you're in, rather than questioning their actions and how their actions are making you feel. If you have a bad day, they will have had a worse day. They will always try and find a way to invalidate your experience and make it about them. Unless it's something they've done wrong, and then they will deflect it away from them and put it onto you. So if they've done something wrong, they will find a way to blame you for why they've done something wrong, which again invalidates who you are. It invalidates your thoughts, your feelings, your opinions. As another characteristic trait is the fact that they exploit people to meet a need of their own. So quite often, if it's a parent, they are not interested in your dreams. They will belittle your dreams. They will put down your dreams. They will invalidate your dreams. They will tell you how you're incapable of doing something or how ridiculous that idea is. They will put down your dreams. What they want for you, they will drill into you. Or scapegoat, they will pass any bad qualities of the parent themselves onto you, the child. They'll either completely ignore you. In a partnership or in a workplace, a boss will offer you the promotions but never deliver those promotions. They'll understand what you want out of a career, but they will never deliver those promotions because they're in charge. No matter how hard you work to get those promotions, they might offer them to somebody else, which invalidates your work ethics. You then question your capabilities, which is sometimes, yes, we do need to work harder, which is why it's easy to make those excuses within our minds that, oh, well, maybe I need to do something to change who I am to achieve that. Whereas we don't understand when we're dealing with narcissistic people, it doesn't matter how much we do for them, they are going to use it against us to take us down. They're going to find a way to triangulate in that work environment to promote someone else, even though they promised it you. Within a partnership, in that love bombing stage and throughout the intermittent reinforcement of the idolization stage of the relationship, they are going to sell you your dreams to then take them down at every turn, or to then start invalidating them. One minute they'll want to buy that home with you, they'll want to plan that family with you, they'll want to do all those things that you would like out of life. And then once they've got you hooked on those dreams, they will steal those dreams away from you. But they'll find a way to say, I'm sorry, but I'm sorry if you, I'm sorry you. They will find a way to pin the blame on you as to why those dreams, those things that you discuss together in the love bombing stage and the idolization stage are not becoming a reality, which invalidates who you are as a person, because you change time and time again to please them, only for them to change time and time again, so you never know where you stand with them. Their characteristic trait of grandiosity, because they believe they are superior to other people, they invalidate other people. When people have opinions that do not match the narcissist's opinion, because the narcissist believes they are superior and they are correct, they are going to invalidate your opinions. That belief that they are special, if you say or do anything that goes against that belief, that criticizes that belief, they are going to put you down to make themselves feel better. The characteristic trait of their sense of entitlement, and this can be very, very uncomfortable to be around in certain situations. We can feel ashamed or embarrassed to be around them, but then we are the ones that feel bad for feeling ashamed or for feeling embarrassed. We don't feel bad for their behaviour, and if we try and explain their behaviour to them, they might rage at us or they might fall silent on us. So we question ourselves because we know that perhaps we shouldn't have said something to them and that we should allow them to be themselves, and that feeling of being uncomfortable around them means that we just should not be around them. Often we've got a bit too far into the relationship with them, or it's a parent, so we don't know any different before we realise that. And when it's a parent, it's especially difficult because we do feel guilt when we walk away from them. We do feel obligation to be there for our parents, not understanding that our parents were never truly there for us. So their sense of entitlement, they can do things that is shameful, and we can get to that point where we fawn to their behaviour for fear of speaking out to them, because they don't see where their behaviour is wrong, they see where our opinions are wrong, so they will criticise and put us down again to feel better within themselves. Another trait is that need for excessive attention. So they will go all out to find that attention. If there is a special occasion happening, some narcissists will go all out to make that special occasion the biggest and the best, but they will want the attention for doing so. They will want that praise. Others will go all out to ruin that occasion, to bring everyone else down around them, to invalidate the efforts that somebody has put into a celebration, to, if it's a wedding, they'll put down the bride, they'll invalidate everybody that's in there. They'll go and cut that slice of cake before the cake's even been cut. They will find a way to, because they feel entitled, to almost make you feel bad within that setting. And then once they've made those around them, those close to them, feel bad, the narcissist will then suddenly do a U-turn. They'll suddenly be happy and content because they've brought everybody else crashing down, which has made them feel better about themselves. So a narcissist will ruin a lot of special occasions simply because they're not the centre of attention. And as soon as they've upset everybody else, the narcissist will then be pleased with their work at upsetting everybody else. A narcissist invalidates who we are through gaslighting. Gaslighting is to deny us our reality, to deny us our thoughts, our feelings, our opinions, to distort those, to distract us from what they are doing so that we focus on what we are doing, or they will tell us something hasn't happened. So we question our memory, we question our mind, and we don't question their behaviour. When they've promised those dreams and then failed to deliver, they'll say things like, I never said that. So we question us and not them. We slowly lose our belief within ourselves and our memory, and often turn more and more to them for those reality checks, not realising that that's the very person making us question our reality. They will blame shift. They will pass the blame on anything they have done wrong onto us or those around them. And when they pass the blame onto us, instead of us looking at them and thinking, no, you have done wrong there, you are in the wrong, you need to accept responsibility and you need to repair the damage you've done, because they're blame shifting it onto us, and usually through gaslighting or projection, they blame shifted that onto us. So we then take the blame. We then look internally to question ourselves and work out what we could change within ourselves because we've made a mistake. We're then trapped in those negative thoughts of feeling shame, feeling guilt, feeling remorseful for things we haven't even done. So many people question if they are a narcissist when they come out of this kind of relationship. And there is the traits themselves. So if you don't exploit people, if you don't feel entitled, if you have empathy, if you care about other people, there's a good chance you are not on the disorder. But another thing is, narcissists blame everybody else for everything that's wrong within their lives, for every mistake they've made. Those who are not on the disorder often blame themselves, often question themselves, often change themselves time and time again because they have the empathy to care for other people, because they're able to reflect, to be able to work on themselves, because they want to please and help other people. So if you're one that often blames yourself, even after the relationship is over, we have to pass that responsibility back to the rightful owner at some point, and that does, passing responsibility back and no longer blaming yourself for their behaviour does not make you a narcissist. They deny our opinions, they deny our beliefs. If our opinion doesn't match theirs, they're going to somehow criticise it or belittle it. They deny actions they have taken, they deny things they have said, so that we are constantly questioning ourselves, we're constantly being invalidated, even through our own memory. They criticise us at every turn, so again we question who we are, we question our capabilities, slowly chipping away then at ourselves, as well as the narcissist chipping away at us. Then with things like isolation, when they isolate us from friends and family and from support, we don't have anybody to go to get that validation, to get that reality check. We can no longer turn inwards because we've been invalidated that much. We then struggle to see who we are as a person because the narcissist has projected them onto us. we then constantly question our behaviour, our thoughts, our feelings, and not the very person who's driving us to think and feel the way we are thinking and feeling when we are around them. Then there's the silent treatment, which just makes us feel worthless. It makes us feel like we're not important. It invalidates who we are as a person. It makes us feel like we're not good enough. When someone falls silent on us, we then also question what we have done to make them fall silent. We don't question the fact that all we potentially did at most is question their entitlement or question the belief that they are special. So they have fallen silent to get us to fawn to their way of thinking, to get us to behave how they want us to behave. They have fallen silent so they can further their control over us. We can fall silent, and we can fall silent because someone has hurt our feelings and we're trying to process what's happened, and then once we have, or don't want to react, and once we have, we will open up that two-way conversation with that person to sort it out. So when someone then falls silent on us, we instantly go to our internal coping mechanisms to try and relate to why they've fallen silent. We don't realise that their methods are different to ours. Their falling silent is to punish us. Our falling silent is usually to internally reflect and then go and speak to a person. When it comes to a narcissist, when it comes to no contact, our falling silent is to let them move on with their life while we move on with ours. When the narcissist discards and falls silent, that's to get us to chase after them, often to help with their smear campaign. When we are constantly invalidated, it lowers our confidence within ourselves, it lowers our beliefs within our own abilities, it lowers our self-esteem, and our self-esteem can be lowered from parents, friends, teachers, bosses, work colleagues and partners. Those people who bring us down so that we don't feel good enough within ourselves. And some people can do this with good intentions, they just say it in the wrong format for who we are as a person. Other people that continue to do this do it to bring us down, to raise themselves up. So raising our own self-esteem, which can be difficult when our self-esteem has been destroyed over a long period of time, but raising our self-esteem actually helps protect us against these kinds of people and helps us to live our best life for us. And one of the first things we need to do is stop comparing ourselves to other people. We are not that other person, we are ourselves. So stop comparing to other people. If you can see someone achieve something that you would like to achieve, learn that that shows that people have the ability to achieve that if they put the time and the work in, and you have the ability to achieve that, but do it in your own way. Do not compare yourself to that person. If you write a list out of the things you don't feel good enough within yourself, and this can hit hard, so if possible have somebody around for support, but if you write a list out of all the things that you feel inadequate about, all the things that you don't feel good about, all the things that you put yourself down about, and then if you tick by that list, whether it's your parent, your friend, your boss, your partner, if you put whoever the narcissist or narcissists are in your life at the top, and if you tick down that list, which of those people have told you these things to make you believe that wrong belief within yourself that you aren't good enough or that you aren't capable. You might have some there that you can't think of anyone that's put them there, that you may have compared yourself to someone else, and you may have then put that thought there within yourself. So writing down that list of the things where you don't feel good enough, and then take a good look at that list. Again, it might hit hard. And when you are looking at that list, think of somebody that you really care about, or because you're a kind-hearted person, look at that list. Would you go and tell somebody else that they are what's on that list? Would you, whatever you've written down, would you go and tell somebody else that you think that of that person? The answer there is most likely no, you wouldn't. You especially wouldn't tell someone that you loved. You especially wouldn't go and tell someone that you care for. And you possibly wouldn't even go up to a stranger. Well, you wouldn't go up to a stranger and tell them the things that you have wrote negatively about yourself. A narcissist would. A narcissist does not have the empathy to care. So a narcissist will happily take all the things they don't like about themselves and tell them to that other person. They will project them onto that other person by telling that other person that they're not capable, they're not good enough, they're not attractive enough. The narcissist, because they lack the empathy to care, will hurt another person's feelings. And if someone is willing to do that to you, they are not the one for you, no matter who they are in life. It's a case of we treat people how we want to be treated. And if they're not going to treat us with the same respect, the same loyalty, we don't then treat them how they treat us. We have to learn, and it's difficult with all the gaslighting, we have to learn to walk away from that person, because we cannot help somebody who sees no error in their own behaviour. We cannot help someone who passes the blame onto all those around them. We cannot help someone who is not willing to help themselves. We also have to begin to treat ourselves how we treat other people. We have to talk to ourselves how we talk to other people. When we're around a narcissist, narcissistic people talk to us in a way that belittles us and criticises us. We then talk to ourselves more and more in that manner. Whereas we try to talk to the narcissist, we try different methods, different approaches to raise them up, to help them out. When what we need to do is look internally and start talking to ourselves, start treating ourselves how we treat those that we care about, and not how narcissistic people treat us. Confidence is the feeling of self-assurance within our own abilities, within our own feelings, within our own belief. And the core to our confidence is our self-esteem. And even when we have a good self-esteem, things are still going to happen to us. It's a part of life. Life has those ups and downs. It is a roller coaster. It is a journey. It is a big learning curve. And if you blame yourself for things you haven't done, that shows you've got the capability to reflect and to learn. Self-esteem is being able to analyse our own capabilities and to be able to not be put off by making a mistake or an error in judgment, to be able to forgive ourselves from our past so that we can move on with our future. For things that we didn't know about or weren't aware about, to be able to forgive ourselves and move forward, to leave the toxic things in the past so that we can use the present to focus on our future. Self-esteem is what we think about ourselves. It's how we value ourselves. It's what we think about our abilities. It's what we think about our worth ethics. It's what we think about our appearance. Self-esteem is all about our internal worth, what we believe we are deserving of, what we believe we are worthy of, which is why when a narcissist has torn us down so much over a long period of time, we no longer believe we are worthy. We can end up believing that we deserve that treatment when nobody deserves to be abused. That is on the abuser. Raising our self-esteem can become quite difficult, but it's also a must. We need to make raising our self-esteem a must for our own capabilities. And it can be quite difficult because when you've been around an arrogant person that's put you down, you can then question becoming confident because you don't want to turn, feel like you're turning into them. You are not. If you care for other people, if you don't pass the blame on to other people, you are not turning into them by raising your own confidence. There is a difference between confidence and arrogance. There's a difference between having your self-esteem and self-belief within who you are and your values and protecting those core values without belittling other people, and a narcissist who puts other people down to feel better about themselves. There's a difference between being able to see someone else's perceptions, to be able to see someone else's point of view, yet stick to your own without forcing your own on that other person. A narcissist will try to force theirs onto those around them. They will try to invalidate people to force the narcissist beliefs onto the person that they're invalidating. You're not going to go around invalidating other people. You're going to hold true to who you are as a person. Finding that balance within yourself so that your self-esteem and your confidence isn't too high, so that when something negative does happen, it doesn't send you crashing down too far, but also so that it's not too low, so that when narcissistic people come along, they can tear you down even further. You've got to find that middle ground. Be able to bend your rules, not break them. You can change your rules, just don't break them. You can adapt your rules, just don't break them, because when you break your rules, you are the one that's going to feel the anger. You are the one that's going to feel resentment. You are the one that might do something you would rather not do, because you have, then your emotions begin to take control. And when we are thinking emotionally, we don't always do the right action for our best interest. Emotions are good. Emotions teach us so many things. We just have to tune into those emotions. So avoid dwelling on the past. Say no to the things you need to say no to. By saying yes to something is saying no to yourself. It needs to be a no. You need to find a million and one ways to say no, and you need to stick to your no. You need to draw the line in that sand and do not cross it. Once you've said no, it is a no, because as soon as you change your mind and say yes, other people can then see that they've broken down that boundary. Sometimes before you say no, you might have to say to someone, I need to have a think about that. Because if you say no and then think, oh, well, I could really, and then say yes, that person, if it's a good person, they're a good person, so it won't matter. If it's a narcissistic person, they see this as a vantage point to start chipping away at you. So sometimes you might have to retreat and have a rethink and then say yes or no to something. But do not say yes to things where you are then saying no to who you are as a person, saying no to your beliefs, saying no to your boundaries, saying no to your values, because it's going to chip away at who you are. Expressing your needs. When you've been around a narcissist, it becomes increasingly difficult to express your needs, your wants, your desires, because they will have invalidated them at every single turn throughout the relationship, to the point where you daren't speak up for yourself anymore. You fawn to their way of living. So start off by expressing your needs to yourself. And most often, once you express your needs to yourself, you then don't actually have to express them to other people, because our job isn't to change someone's opinion of us. Our job isn't to change somebody's mind. Our job isn't to get somebody to meet our needs. Our job is to meet our own. So start expressing your needs to yourself. And this isn't to be selfish. You are not doing it to hurt other people. You've got to be at your best, to give your best, so that those toxic narcissistic people can't take your best away from you. It's all about your intentions. If your intent is good, then you are allowed to have desires. You are allowed to have dreams. You are allowed to have needs. You are human. It's part of growth. It's part of development. So if your intentions are good, there is no issue with having these things. It's narcissistic people where their intentions are bad. They want to meet a need, and they often destroy or exploit other people and bring other people down to meet that need. You are not turning into them by wanting to meet your own needs. There's different intent behind the thought process. Identify negative or limiting beliefs. Identify those things. Whenever you say, I can't do that, I'm not capable of doing that, things like that, identify that moment and write it down. Also write down if you think somebody else put that thought into your mind, so that you know that was their opinion and not yours. And if it is yours, think about how you would speak to someone if they had that limiting belief. What would you tell someone who really wanted to do something that had that limiting belief? And start talking to yourself that way. When you're doing these limiting beliefs, find something. You can usually, if you look hard enough, you can usually find something that contradicts this limiting belief. When you're telling yourself you can't do something, you can usually find something within your past where you have done it and you have achieved it, to contradict that, so that you can see that you are capable. Or you can look at someone else who has achieved it to show that, well, it is possible. If it is possible for them to do it your own way. You are not in competition with them. But if it is possible for them to do it, it is more than possible for you to do it too. Write down the good things about yourself. Write down at least 5 good qualities about yourself. Find them, every single one. Accepting the things you cannot change in your life, like your past. You cannot change your past, it's happened. What can you pull from your past to teach you, to help you in your future? Accept the things that you cannot change. Work on the things that you can change for you. Recognize the things that you are good at. Start recognizing the things that you are capable of. Taking a mental note of those things. Be kind to yourself. Be kind to yourself. If you would not talk to someone else in a way that you are talking to yourself, stop talking to yourself like that now and start talking to yourself how you would talk to other people. Treat yourself how you treat other people. Treat other people how you want to be treated. If that other person treats you in a way that you would not treat other people, it's time to close the door on that chapter within your life and move on to find the people who raise you up. We do not need people within our lives that bring us down. You cannot change those people. That is up to them to change for themselves. The more we try and help them, the more we try and show them the error of their ways, the more we are actually enabling them, because they see it as they got away with it last time, they will get away with it again. The more we are there for them, they see it that they can guilt trip us into helping them. We are not teaching them anything. The only thing we are teaching them is that we will give in to their demands because we want to try and help them, and all they do is hurt us even more. People who act this way, the only way to teach them is by walking away from them, because whenever you're going to be there to pick up the pieces for them, they are not going to learn, and it's hard. And when people are going through a rough time, it's finding that difference. When people can be going through a rough time, and it's not to make excuses for anyone's behaviour, but if they're not being abusive, you can be there for someone who is going through a rough time. You also need to make sure you take care of yourself, because it can be draining on you when someone else is drained and going through a rough time. If they're not being abusive, you can be there to help them. If they're trying to find ways to help themselves or just need that little boost, you can be there to help them. If someone is being abusive and repeating that behaviour, you cannot be there for them, because they're not going to change who they are. If they have a lack of empathy, if they want to exploit people, if they feel entitled, they are arrogant enough to believe they deserve to have everything their way, they are not going to change who they are as a person, especially if you're there supporting who they are as a person. Be it unwittingly supporting because you've been gaslighted into believing things that aren't true. Yeah, there's a time when you have to step away. I shall add in the description the video on gaslighting and the video on the 15 ways narcissists distract us from what they are doing, and the video on limiting beliefs for more information. Thank you very much for listening. I hope everyone has a good day.